How's it going, my evil residents? Welcome to Plot Armor. In this series, we tally up the medical bills of our favorite characters and find out just how often they've cheated death itself. On this episode, we'll be covering Alex Mason from Call of Duty Black Ops 1, as well as his CIA handler, Jason Hudson. If you'd like to see a sequel to this video based around Call of Duty World at War and Viktor Reznov, let's get this video to 100 likes and then I will happily make that video. Just let me know you'd like to see it by hitting that like button. And if you like this video, obviously. For their bills, to keep things fair, I will be tallying the cost in US dollars of modern day without insurance of any kind. Since they're in the military and they help cover funeral expenses, funeral costs will be $3,000 down from the $7,000 I usually charge for when I cover civilians on this channel. We will also be tallying every time they survive something out of sheer luck, usually due to the writing of the game. I'll count these by giving out Chief tokens, which are named after the main character of the Halo series, Master Chief, because his main trait is that he's lucky and, well, I just really like Halo. This is the first of a couple of my old videos that I will be remastering. I have made everything from the ground up, the script, the footage, the voiceover, literally everything. This is a brand new video in all ways except concept. If you want to see me remake more of my old videos in my modern quality and style, please do let me know which ones you would like to see. I will not be spamming these. This is a every once in a while type of thing. But yeah, I just wanted to make that transparent before we get into the video. And if you'd like to watch the old version of this video, the link is in the description. I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the video.
You said a long time ago. Where? Cuba.
Wake up. Wake up.
Where am I?
Right off the top here, this whole game essentially is a flashback with Mason being interrogated and lightly, heavily tortured by Hudson up there in the command room. There's a few times throughout the game.
Fuck you!
Where were you born?
Kiss my ass!
Where Mason gets a 20 to 80 milliamp shock, which can cause severe convulsions, loss of consciousness, internal damage, and he very clearly experienced lots of other physical torture since there's blood on his shirt and he looks absolutely horrible. So I'm going to charge him a $120,000 medical bill just for treatment for being electrocuted and whatever injuries he sustained while being tortured and unbrainwashed here.
Let's start at the beginning.
The police are gonna be here soon. Let's make this quick.
Now moving into the meat of the game with the first mission.
It's been a while.
Woods and Mason get super lucky that this guy's gun jams right when fast reflexes are necessary, especially since AK-47s are not known for jamming. They are still used today because of how cheap and reliable they are. And then as they're moving through the streets after escaping the bar, they're lucky the cops have stormtrooper aim, specifically in this alley. While they're speeding down the street trying to escape, they aren't shot somehow by all these guns so close by. In addition to that, a lot of the glass in this vehicle is broken. The windshield goes out, all the windows go out when they get shot up, so I'm charging $4,000 for various cuts and gashes from the glass shattering around them. And lastly for this section, I am charging $3,000 for a death because they rammed this police car at the end of the road just before the mission ends at about 40 miles per hour. If you T-bone a car at that speed, you will die. So I'm charging $3,000. In the next mission during the Bay of Pigs, shortly after taking out the Castro double, they are saved by Carlos's support team after they're being pinned down outside of Castro's compound.
Here they come, over the east wall!
You think I let you down?
Later on, after they cut through the sugar fields, Mason is running through an empty field with grenades, high caliber fire, artillery fire, and many, many soldiers firing around them and specifically targeting them. He is incredibly lucky that he did not die here. There's even a scripted artillery shell going off right next to Mason that stuns you. So I'm charging a Chief token for this.
Give us cover, Mason!
Here, he fires an M60 from a slow-moving plane, the only slow-moving plane in the area, with zero cover. And shortly after sacrificing himself to make sure that Woods, Bowman, and Co. can escape by taking out the cars blocking the airfield, he is knocked out by Kravchenko.
Are you crazy? They'll screw you up out there! Mason, what are you doing? Mason!
Runway's clear.
Damn you, Mason!
No choice, Woods. I knew what I signed up for. I'll be fine. Just go. Get out of here.
Being knocked out in this way is very, very damaging to your brain. I talk about this a lot on the channel because it's such a common trope, but if you are knocked out due to physical trauma, like being hit with something in the head, and you are out for multiple seconds, much less minutes, each second that you are out is a second that your brain has no oxygen and cannot support itself. So you are rapidly losing function of your brain the longer you are unconscious. So I'm going to charge $150,000 for a mix of a concussion and severe brain trauma. I charge for this every time a character is knocked out on this channel, but I figured I would go more in depth on it since this is the first time that I'm bringing it up in the video. And in the last version of this video, this is the first time I mentioned it. He's then thrown in Vorkuta for about 2.5 years, living life in a Soviet labor camp, constantly mining, fighting for his life, probably being malnourished, dealing with other Russians wanting to kill him. I'm charging him $80,000 for treatment for severe PTSD and whatever other injuries he sustains while living in Vorkuta.
This is step one! Now, we take Vorkuta! What is step two?
While they're escaping Vorkuta, when they get these doors open and a ton of these prisoners are just totally massacred, Mason is so lucky that the turret guy can't aim. Yes, they have the plan to run behind the cart, but he only stops shooting for just a second to allow you to do that, and their plan relies on that bit of luck in the turret guy being too slow to react. Yes, if you wait here a really, really long time, the whole scripted section plays out and you can just continue, but it's clearly intended for you to just run through in that small gap of maybe a second to get behind the minecart. So I'm going to charge a chief token for this. Some people were iffy about this in my last video, but I'm going to leave it in just because it still relies on some level of luck of nobody shooting them to get behind this metal cart in this completely open field. After Mason skewers the winged beast, he is lucky he isn't either hit by the helicopter, hit by debris from the helicopter crashing and blowing up this building next to them. Another chief token here when Sergei saves the plan and Mason from being crushed by the door or trapped in the hallway to get ambushed by guards and eventually die in there. So, 4 went out for Sergei, chief token for Mason. Once Mason grabs the minigun to wield a fist of iron, this makes no sense because you cannot use these types of miniguns. One, just holding them like this, no human being is physically strong enough to wield a minigun like this. It is physically impossible, especially in the 60s with this type of minigun. Secondly, the minigun would not work. There is no power source hooked up to it. It doesn't just like run on gas or whatever. You need to hook up a power source to these for them to work properly. And this doesn't make sense. It's a great double reference because if you don't know, Mason is played by Sam Worthington, who plays a Terminator in Terminator Salvation, which came out around the time this game came out. And it's a double reference to Terminator 2, where Arnold, as the Terminator, is standing up on like the second floor of a building firing down at people below with the minigun. So it's kind of a double reference there, which is really awesome. But unfortunately, it makes no sense. It gets a chief token. And yes, the plane does rely on this because they get bombarded with soldiers after this, and they wouldn't have been able to do it without the minigun. Shortly after this, I'm charging 2 chief tokens because Mason gets caught in tear gas. and is saved by Reznov. So obviously he's saved by Reznov, that's chief token. But for the other one, for the tear gas, let me explain for a second. In addition to Mason already likely having been living in horrible air quality for years straight in a mining camp with dust and debris all day, every day, this would likely incapacitate him for much longer than a normal, healthy adult male who would only have minor side effects after 30 minutes or so. There is no way Mason will be able to function, much less drive a motorcycle a few minutes after this when Reznov saves him. It makes no sense. So 2 chief tokens. When Mason and Reznov drive the motorcycles out of the warehouse, Mason jumps it out of this window and lands with the motorcycle horizontal to how he lands and at an angle. The motorcycle would most definitely fly out from under him and crush his leg, obviously breaking it. So I'm going to charge him $55,000 for a broken leg. Absolutely insane. This motorcycle also, in the middle of Russia, by the way, Soviet Russia, has a working American lever action shotgun on it. They're also lucky that this helicopter with a trained Russian soldier on the gun can't hit shit worth jack. Chief token. Mounted MGs also can't take down helicopters this quickly or easily. They can do it, but it would take lots of sustained fire to bring it down, and this kind of turret is more likely to run out of ammo before taking out the helicopter.
Jump, Mason, jump!
Your turn! Come on! Step 8, Reznov! Freedom!
For you, Mason! Not for me!
Reznov!
I'm also going to charge for 2 things off screen here. I'm charging 1 because it took Mason about a month between the end of the Vorkuta mission to meet with John F. Kennedy, meaning in that time, he was lost in Russia by himself. Soviet Russia during the Cold War as an American, all alone for nearly a month. Probably somewhere between like a week to 3 weeks because he obviously had to be debriefed and stuff, and you know how slow the government is. Insane that he survived that all by himself. Completely ridiculous. It's just hand waved. So funny. It gets a cheap token. In addition to this, I talked about this at the end of the previous version of this video, but I'm just going to talk about it here. Mason was brainwashed by Dragovich to assassinate Kennedy. This is completely true. This is confirmed. It is heavily implied, though, but never outright stated, that Mason did actually kill him in collaboration with Lee Harvey Oswald. The game has a timeline gap right when Kennedy dies. There's a gap between the next mission, which is only 5 days before Kennedy died. The game then doesn't pick back up anywhere near November 22nd, 1963. It picks up in January of 1968. Combine Mason tweaking right here when meeting Kennedy.
Dragovich.
The timeline gap. Elinias, where he mentions Oswald being compromised, as in Lee Harvey Oswald. And what Dragovich says at the end of the game.
Gets me on! Like I'm making kill my own president!
Right?
Given that, it is absolutely insane that he is protected by the CIA and is allowed to live in America outside of a concrete hole for killing one of America's most beloved presidents ever, even under brainwashing. If the public ever found out about this, he'd be a dead man, straight up. And it's crazy that the CIA covered for him for this, and it drives me crazy. It makes no sense. It's a really cool plot detail, but it makes no sense for the CIA to cover it up and still let him like function in society. It's crazy. He's getting a chief token for getting away with making Kennedy's head just do that.
Gunfire's drawing attention. Those assholes on the way back.
When they're on the way to save Weaver, I'm going to charge Mason for fractures in his legs as well as treatment for removing multiple shards of glass from his body and face. It's not technically possible for a person to kick down a window like this. But if he did, the force required moving at these speeds would at least fracture his legs. Then going through the window with all the tiny glass shards would most definitely leave a ton of glass shards and pieces embedded in his skin, or leaving lots of cuts, maybe even blinding him. So I'm charging for leg fractures and a hospital visit, kind of a median amount. This could vary a lot. There's a few different injuries like this, so I'm going to charge $38,000 for both the fractured legs and digging glass out of his face and body.
Mason, on me!
When they go deeper into the base, after getting Weaver, they're on this walkway, this concrete walkway with like no cover whatsoever. I think this should have been it for them. I'm giving them a chief token.
It's too late. I can't stop it.
Plan B, Bowman, set it up. This'll do it.
Load, Mason! Now!
Oh, shit!
It's a hell of a way to test the prototype.
Fucking A. Damn! Castanio! Get to the tunnel! POW rescue. You know, he's with shit.
After the area gets attacked and their Jeep crashes, Mason and Hudson get launched from the Jeep. They are both very lucky that the Jeep didn't roll over them and crush them. And then when Mason picks up Hudson to save him, Hudson gets chief token for that, by the way. There's a near-miss artillery shot, not even 10 feet away from them.
We gotta move him. Get him to the bunker. I'll cover you. Go!
And then after this whole gunfight, the base Mason is about to enter, the entrance being about 10 to 12 feet away, explodes, creating a giant fireball from the entrance and knocking him on his ass. An explosion strong enough to knock him over and fly him backwards onto his ass like this should have killed him or liquefied his insides or something to that extent. And if it didn't, the soldiers around him would have killed him. So I'm charging you death here. And then shortly after this, once they go through the base that just exploded but is somehow still standing, the 6 tanks that they take down, 6 tanks, not 7 tanks, 6 tanks, never fire on the only moving vehicle that is also the only thing in the entire area that's able to take out their tanks. Pure dumbassery. When they're dropping into Hue City, Mason's helicopter starts going down, and he swings around the helicopter and then gets slammed into a building.
Squad 50, we're hit! We're hit!
Look out!
Very lucky that he hits a window, but instead of charging a chief token, I'm going to charge him $90,000 because he hits this window, much like he did the last one, with much less control and probably more speed. He does hit it legs first, but he's probably breaking those legs. He should be a broken mess after getting in through here. Absolutely insane. $90,000.
Eliminator, we are going down!
And then this entire building is burning down and there's incendiary shells being fired all over the place. I'm charging $2,000 for treatment for smoke inhalation because he's in here for multiple minutes. Once they escape the building and Mason starts hallucinating Reznov, they're lucky that they got the air support radio from the soldier earlier, otherwise they'd have no way to deal with this tank and it would most surely kill them. When they're trying to get off the street because the second tank shows up, the tank shoots a car and the car hits them. They should have died from this.
Off the street!
And then shortly after this, the tank shoots out the floor beneath Mason. Combine the sudden floor removal and him falling down a story, he can do anything from bonk his head to break an arm. So I'm charging kind of a middle amount of like $10,000 because something should have happened to him here, but it's very unclear what should have happened because he's not actually injured. This is pure guesswork for me. I am not a doctor. So $10,000. And then when there's
Marking coordinates. Delta Squadron. Burn them up.
Roger, X-ray, target run. Get your people.
whole platoon of soldiers, not a single one hits their shot. Absolutely crazy. This next mission opens up directly into a helicopter crash. Mason should have died from the helicopter crash. I will not take any arguments in saying that he survives this, much less any of the other helicopter crashes in the game.
I need some help here!
He's dead.
They're coming!
We gotta get out of here. This thing's much.
Mason's lucky he gets the jammed door open without any forward leverage. It'd be much easier to open it that way, but he just doesn't. And it's even how he imagines Reznov doing it. So he's just a fucking moron. So I'm charging you Chief Token. And then once Mason gets up onto the boat and takes this guy's a human shield, he should have died here anyway. This guy has no armor on, and AKs have pretty respectable penetration because of the caliber they are and just how fast they throw the bullet. He should have been lit up and killed here with how many soldiers are shooting at him. After this long gunfight,
Weapons free!
Mason and Swift go down into the rat tunnel. Obviously, Swift does not make it, but honestly, Mason was lucky to make it too. With Mason imagining Reznov taking on entire soldiers on his own, this guy's brain is a bag of rats. It's insane that he survives the stuff he does in this game, so I'm giving him a Chief Token. He's completely insane.
My way around.
All right. We'll move quietly.
What the fuck's wrong with you? Mason, you gotta keep your shit.
Let's come in.
Go ahead, Mason.
Swift's dead. We got VC crawling all over. It looks abandoned.
Grushenko anticipated our arrival.
Quick, grab the documents, Reznov. We're leaving. Shit. Kurchenko had the place wired to blow. X-ray, do you monitor? Damn it!
Animation! I do not wish this grasshopper to become my prey!
Mason, what the fuck happened? We're seeing fire from the tunnels. Where the hell are you? We'll maintain a holding pattern until we have eyes on.
Shit!
Moving on to the end of the next mission, Mason is very lucky that this explosion from the plane didn't dislodge the wing or knock him off of it, because the explosion is only about like 15 feet away. I'm not saying it would kill him directly, but if it dislodged the wing or knocked him off the wing, that is a long fall, and that would kill him. So he's lucky that didn't happen, so Chief Token.
Grenade launchers, Channel Lakes. The hell the Russians do with American weapons?
Must be some kind of setup.
Fuck, the hides are back! Look out!
Face yourself, Mason!
Dragovich. Kravchenko.
It's been too long, Mason. We must make up for lost time.
Moving on to Hudson's first mission in Kowloon.
We can do this all day. I got explosive diarrhea.
Or you can give us what we want and we guarantee your safety.
Not good. Not good.
I'm already a dead man. To help stabilize certain volatile compounds.
What kind of compound?
They fire at Hudson and Weaver through the window, but don't hit literally any of their shots when these two men are standing perfectly still.
A biochemical weapon.
You left them right to me!
They also jump 3 to 4 stories. I don't care if they land on 2 flat-ass mattresses. They're breaking their legs. $90,000. Later on in the mission, Hudson is very lucky that these soldiers suck at breaching because they had Hudson dead to rights right here. He couldn't even see them through the smoke, and they just don't shoot him. Chief token. They jump onto this roof, and he grabs Clark to have a whole-ass conversation with him while he's dangling off the edge of a roof. Hudson was lucky he isn't shot with how long they were standing here. Yeah, they kill Clark because they don't want the other guys to get the information. Hang here for like 30 seconds. It's insane that they also weren't shot, in addition to Clark.
Fuck! Let's go! He's dead. Red eye out. Come on, Hudson. I see a way down. This way.
Where are we headed?
Clark ID'd a Nazi scientist working for Dragovich. His name's Steiner. We're going to Russia, Mount Yamantau.
He gets 1 chief token for Captain Mosley providing overwatch via the Blackbird. Otherwise, they would not have been able to navigate that area.
Clear. More soldiers are on their way. Get to that guardhouse. Go!
Let's move. I'll fix you on the ridge!
We lost Harris!
Avalanche!
After Hudson jumps off the cliff like a badass, he pulls his chute very late. Like, way later than you should pull your chute for this situation. He would hit the ground really hard and likely break or sprain an ankle. So I'm going to charge about $50,000 depending on if it's a break or a sprain, if he breaks 1 or 2. This could be a totally different number. Depends a lot on how he lands. But we don't get to see because it's a first-person video game, so I'm charging $50,000. And when they're escaping the base as the avalanche is coming down, Weaver has to hotwire the truck while Hudson is on the MG. I didn't charge Mason and Reznov for being on the same MG and having no cover because they were a moving target. You could headcanon Reznov being a super pro Tokyo drifter, bobbing and weaving through every single bullet. Semi-plausible. Taking on a whole army of soldiers, stationary, on a truck, with an MG, with no cover, not plausible. Therefore, chief token.
Fucking mountain's coming down!
Nearly there! Got it!
Hit it! Go! Go!
The avalanche buried the entire base, but Hudson and Weaver made it out alive.
Woods, Dragovich is fucking with us.
Moving back to Mason, I'm charging him about $12,000 for recovery and therapy for being in a POW camp for just over a week, being tortured and malnourished and likely underground the entire time.
You, Charlie, hear me. Communist piece of shit. Bowman! Bowman! You fucking son of a bitch! Next. I'm gonna...
Blade!
What's the plan?
I'm thinking.
This section is totally badass, but it's insane that it works. These other soldiers have the reaction time of an unsalted peanut. They have the reaction time of me. That's bad. That's not good. So I'm giving it a chief token.
This time, do it.
Aim lang!
Ready.
Play. Dale, bang!
6 and 8 o'clock.
Escape! Bring him down, Mason!
You're not going anywhere.
You got him! For Bowman!
For Bowman.
Evil bastard's days are numbered!
They're also very lucky again that there's a hind right at this exit point just sitting there ready to be taken, just ready to go.
You see that hind? We're gonna take it.
Fully loaded with unlimited missiles, just there. Chief token. And lastly, for this section, at least as far as chief tokens go, they are very, very lucky that they were able to take on about 100 guys without any gear after a week straight in a POW camp. It's absolutely insane that they pulled this off. I don't normally charge for gunfights. I'm only going to charge for this one and one other one later. But they've been malnourished for at least a week, tortured, have no gear. Crazy that they did this. I'm charging a chief token.
Not this time, American. You again.
I should have killed you in Vorkuta.
Got you now, you son of a bitch. You die with me.
What?
Grushenko is dead.
Dragovich, Krashenko, Stein, all must die. Rebirth Island. Source of Dragovich's poison.
Moving on to when Mason is going after Steiner. This is the last impossible gunfight I'm charging for. But Mason taking on this entire base of soldiers while literally having his imaginary friend as backup is crazy. Like, what if he just imagines Reznov giving him covering fire, or like, oh, Reznov said he'd shoot that guy. And then obviously he doesn't because Reznov's not fucking real. And then Mason dies. It would just take one singular moment of that and Mason's gone. Like, that's all it takes. Mason, he's not even a cornball in this game. He's a popcorn ball because his brain is like exploding the entire time because he's fucking crazy. Insane that he survived this and that he pulled this off to begin with the state that his mind is in. Insane. Chief token.
It's Victor Reznov, and I will have my revenge!
Mason, no!
I'm fine. Check Steiner.
Here it is revealed that Reznov, after the Vorkuta mission, was simply not real, ever. And that Mason is completely crazy, was basically MK Ultra'd, and then his MK Ultra brainwashing was hijacked by his best friend Reznov, so that Reznov could have his revenge taken out post-mortem. So not only in one fell swoop did Mason remember his entire bit of brainwashing, his double-double from in-and-out brainwashing. On top of this, he found out that his best friend during his time in the Soviet labor camp used his brainwashing and him as an extension to carry out his own revenge, therefore not even respecting him as a friend. And this guy has seen Reznov in his head for months, if not years at this point, just living in his head, thinking he's his best friend. I cannot fathom what that does to a human being's mind. It's absolutely crazy. I'm charging him $600,000 for an entire life. We know it's not an entire life because he's going to die in a few years, but just hear me out. An entire life's worth of therapy. $600,000. I'm lowballing this. This guy would need a professional therapist in order to be somewhat okay and live a normal life. Absolutely ridiculous. Totally insane. Poor Mason. Poor Mason. Physical health armor, 10 out of 10. Mental health armor, 1 out of 10. Like, this poor guy. Oh my god.
We're approaching the number station. Shit! Taking triple-A fire from the deck! I think they were expecting us. Yankee team, engage us on right. Roger that, Alpha. Out of the chopper, jump! Go, 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 go!
They survive another helicopter crash right at the beginning of the mission. Yeah, so does Hudson, so he also gets a chief token. These next two deaths are for Mason and Hudson. They dive down to this base at the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is about 4,000 meters deep. Humans can only dive a bit over 1,000 deep if very experienced and if they have gear. They don't really have either. They have some gear, but this is the 60s. The gear's not as good, so they could not go this deep. They couldn't even go this deep with modern gear. Like I said, it's 4 times deeper than people can physically go. So if they dove this deep, they would just die. So I'm charging them both to death. It's crazy. And then after this, there's an explosion in this area and the room rushes full of water. They both would die instantly on impact from the water rushing in this fast at this low of a depth, because the water would be impossibly fast and just crush them. Mason is knocked against the wall and is knocked unconscious again, so he gets charged another $150,000. He also then magically regains consciousness underwater, where he cannot breathe when his brain is deprived of oxygen. There's nothing to like jumpstart him to wake up. There's no oxygen to wake him up, so he couldn't wake up. So this is a chief token.
Dragovich.
You should have been my finest agent. It would have all been so much simpler.
Dragovich!
It is simple. I'm gonna kill you.
Try to fuck with my mind. You fire. You don't know anything.
And then Mason and Hudson escape from thousands of meters beneath the surface of the Gulf of Mexico, 4,000 meters, and managed to swim to the surface with no gear. They should have died. It's that simple. As soon as they left the pressurized base below the sea, they should have just instantly died. They would have been crushed to death. So, yeah, I know it sucks to end this off with a death, but yeah, they both should have died here.
Mason! It is over. We won.
All right, now that we've finished all the missions, moving on to the totals. Mason got away with 38 chief tokens, 13 deaths, and a medical bill of $1,701,000. That is including the price of all of his deaths. Absolutely insane. If my math is right, if you adjusted this to 60s money, this would be about $700,000 or $800,000. It kind of depends, because some of the treatments were just totally different back then, so I would have to redo whole math. That's just kind of an estimate. Don't take that as fact. This whole video was silly, by the way. Don't take any of this as fact. This is just for fun. As for Hudson, he gets away with 11 chief tokens, 3 deaths, and a medical bill of $179,400 including his deaths. Yeah, he only has 2 missions, but I think overall he still has way less plot armor than Mason does. I mean, it helps that his brain functions in a normal capacity. I don't know, Hudson's just cool. So I guess he just doesn't need as much plot armor to survive stuff because he's just that cool. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, drop a like. If you disliked it, feel free to dislike it. Let me know why in the comments. If you'd like a sequel to this video, I already made a Black Ops 2 one, and you can go watch that one. If you'd like it remastered, let me know. If you'd like a sequel to this video in the form of a World at War video, including Reznov sections from this game, 100 likes. If this video hits 100 likes, I will happily make that video. If you're watching this around the time it came out, I hope you enjoy Black Ops 7. If this comment ages horribly and Black Ops 7 is the worst game ever made, LMAO. That's all I have to say. We do have memberships on the channel if you'd like to support me more directly. I do have 2 tiers, a regular tier and a video request tier. Obviously no pressure, but if you'd like to support me directly in a monetary way, that is the best way to do so, unless you'd like to buy a shirt or something. Greatly appreciate all of you, even if you don't do any of that stuff. If you just watched the video, hated it, and clicked off in 5 seconds, I appreciate you too, because you clicked on my video. That's awesome. Speaking of memberships, shout out to all my members who are scrolling on the left side of the screen right now. Max the Noodle, The Epic Rager, Lord Porkshire, Casual Mode, Mal Plays, Heavy Morals, Nicholas Linsman, Freak Productions, Nico Femboy, Jordan Marshall, Noah Yates, Robin Volmuller, Casper Jones, Conjured Lion, Andrew Keeley, and Stoop Kid. And a super mega extra special shout out to my malevolent residents of the channel, DDTpus TTV, Aircrom Cromer, Rosemary, and Tim Just Me Really. That's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers, by the way. Thank you very much. Stay evil, my residents.